Well, ladies and gentlemen, the moment I saw this tweet from Bioware, I gotta tell you, I couldn't wait to roast him in a video. And I think a lot of you guys feel the exact same way. I saw a ton of people responding and quote tweeting the tweet that Bioware decided to put out yesterday on Easter at the time of filming this video. And of course, it's a massive virtue signal. If you guys are unaware, our amazing president, by amazing president, I mean one of the worst in history, if not the worst, Joe Biden decided to make yesterday, aka Easter, apparently now Transgender Visibility Day, because they just don't have enough days. And EA decided to put out a tweet with Bioware and basically praised Transgender Day of Visibility and never mentioned Easter in the slightest. Now again, I want to preface this video with the understanding that I am not religious in the slightest, but I just find this to be hilarious because if you are going to virtue signal to one, you should virtue signal to all. If the day is a holiday, and it's a holiday that's been celebrated for decades, why would you then not virtue signal for that, but then suddenly choose to virtue signal for Transgender Day of Visibility? It just seems like the easy thing to do, and it's just another one for companies to add to their calendars to get their tweets ready with their PR teams, and that way they can put it out there and seem like they're virtuous and care about your cause. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it has a headline that reads, EA-owned Bioware declares Easter as Transgender Day of Visibility. Now, again, I'm not religious in the slightest, but even I think this is absolutely ridiculous. This is the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my life, and it makes you wonder, why does somebody who is supposedly so normal, why does somebody who supposedly is not mental ill, why do they need, probably, I think we're up to almost half of the year now, with some sort of LGBTQ representation-based holiday, day, whatever month, who really knows? Like, we're almost up to half of the year, if not more than that, to dedicate to LGBTQ. It's going to get to a point where the entire year, I mean, this is what they really want. They want the entire year to be dedicated to their new religion, to their new cult. But again, it's just hilarious to me. So it says, Bioware, a video game production studio that is owned by Electronic Arts, declared Easter Sunday as Transgender Day of Visibility. The studio posted on X March 31st, today is Transgender Day of Visibility. Trans people have always been part of our worlds. We're proud to support them both within our games and in real life. Now, the funny thing about this tweet here is that they posted this and they locked down the post right away. They didn't even let anybody respond in the slightest. They blocked it down from the beginning. Now, the reason why these companies do this, and I need you guys to understand this, it's not just about the backlash, okay? These companies don't care what you think. They don't care if you get mad at this post. They don't care if they get backlash for this post. They know they're going to get it. They lock down the post because then it's going to feed the post algorithm on Twitter. They know how to make a couple of bucks off of Twitter, and that's what they're essentially trying to do. So what they do is they post out something absolutely ridiculous that they know nobody's going to want to support, and they're going to want to roast them for it, and they lock down the replies. Because what happens when you lock down the replies? All you could do is retweet it or like it or bookmark it. That's it. If you retweet it or bookmark it, that's going to push it out into the algorithm, especially if it gets liked. But you almost have a ratio going on here, and I think the actual post now actually has a ratio on it. It's got over 3 million views on it, ladies and gentlemen, and they know exactly what they're doing. So they didn't lock down their recent post when they talked about Doctor's Day, which apparently is today, according to the filming of this video. Like, it's Doctor's Day, National Doctor's Day. I don't even know. When they virtue signal for National Doctor's Day, they didn't lock down the post. When they virtue signal for anything else, they don't lock down the post. But when they virtue signal to LGBTQ and especially trans people, they always lock down the post because they know it's going to go viral, because people hate this shit. People do not like it. It is forced. Everybody knows it's just a virtue signal. They don't care about trans people in the slightest, and they will give up trans people very quickly if they were paid to do so. It says this is not the first time that Bioware has supported transgender ideology. Back in June of 2022, the developer posted a statement from the company's general manager, Gary McKay. Bioware supports trans rights, women's rights, and bodily autonomy. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are the cornerstone for our studio and games. We don't consider these human rights up for debate. Gary McKay, Bioware general manager. Now, I already knew Bioware has been woke for a while, okay? This is why their games have been completely trash lately. They're too busy virtue signaling and not busy enough trying to write actual good stories like they used to. The people who made the Bioware games that were very famous and loved in the past are no longer part of the current Bioware that is currently there right now. Bioware got rid of all the devs that were actually good developers, and they hired activists, they hired all these people that fit the mold and think the mold. That way they are the mold. They want people that think exactly like they do, and it ends up being people who can't make a video game worth shit. So I am not excited at all. I don't know about you guys, but I am no longer excited about the next Dragon Age game. I am damn sure not excited about the next Mass Effect game. I already know what's going to happen. I've seen it. I've seen it happen with Mass Effect Andromeda. I already know this company mentally is way worse now than it used to be. It can only get worse from there, and it was already bad as it is. In December 2022, the developer also posted, "Bioware is thrilled to announce that we have donated to Trans Empowerment Project, this year's Dragon Age Day charity. We are proud to be part of a community that is devoted to helping everyone thrive and live their best lives." In June of 2023, the company also posted, "Today and every day, we celebrate and cherish our LGBTQIA fans, friends, family members, and co-workers. In support of Pride Month, our employees in our studio have made donations to Trans Lifeline and Rainbow Railroad." Imagine being forced by your company to donate to an ideology that you may not agree with, right? Like, I understand that they hire people that basically all think like them, but there are still people in these gaming development studios that do not think like this, that are not for this nonsense, and they still have to be forced to follow along. They're forced to donate to trans communities. Why? For what? What are they doing that is so brave? There is nothing brave about basically transing yourself and trying to pretend like you are something that you are not because you're mentally ill. It says, back in 2014, the company's senior writer Patrick Weeks detailed that they created a transgender character for Dragon Age Inquisition in the form of the Iron Bull's Lieutenant Cremisius Krem Aklasi. Weeks explained, "A couple years ago, Bioware did a Bioware base panel on LGBTQ representation in our games at PAX. We heard concerns, praise, and a lot of heartfelt discussion about how we present characters for the LGBTQ community. One of the most repeated requests was for the representation of transgender and or genderqueer characters in a way that did not make them feel either a monster or a joke. When the panel was over, some of us kicked around the ideas about what we could do." Now, if you feel like, as a trans person, if you feel like you're a monster or a joke, you might be basically projecting here a little bit. You might be secretly based and understanding what you are. But let's be real. You guys are grifting off of the current profitability and social clout that can come from claiming you are trans, okay? If you claim you are trans and you come out as trans, you are going to be boosted to the maximum. You are going to have every mainstream outlet under the sun praising you to be stunning and brave. Meanwhile, they're going to ignore everything else that trans people have done that have negatively affected this country, but they want to pretend like the 0.015% of the population apparently is responsible for the greatness of the rest of the population. That's how they like to pretend when it comes to the mainstream media. He added, "As we discussed ideas, the possibility came up of Iron Bull's lieutenant being such a character. But Bull needed a lieutenant. He's a mercenary commander. And even if we didn't have the memory budget to have his entire company around at all time, I needed to be able to remind players that Bull has a history of command. In addition, Bull's loyalty is pulled between life under the Qun and life of freedom, and needed a character on each side who could represent that pull." So, again, I'm very well aware that Bioware has been woke for a little while now. It's unfortunate. They are only getting worse as time goes on. And if you are excited for Dragon Age 4 and Mass Effect 5 or whatever, I got a bridge to sell you, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.
二人とも助かったよ。
いい